Hey everybody, and thanks for listening to this edition of 15 Minutes With. My name is Joe Tommaso, and I'm so glad that you could be here with me today for this edition of the show. We're going to be speaking to Jesse James Hollywood. Jesse James Hollywood is a inmate at the R.J. Donovan Correctional Facility in San Diego, California. We're going to be speaking to him about coronavirus and if the California Department of Corrections is able to handle it or not. We're going to be speaking about the conditions at the facility as well as cleanliness, HIV, and hep-c in the kitchen, among other things. If you'd like to help me keep this show going and would like to see it get better, please donate to paypal.me/Joe Tommaso. That is paypal.me/JoeTomaso. And if you have any questions or suggestions or there's somebody you might want me to interview, please, by all means, email me at insidetherazorwire@gmail.com. Again, that email is insidetherazorwire@gmail.com. Or you can snail mail me at P.O. Box 162, West Haven, Connecticut, 06516. What's happening with the coronavirus in the California Department of Corrections? Are they able to handle it or not? Let's see.
To refuse, hang up now or stay on. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
Jesse, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing okay. I spoke to David earlier. I don't know if he told you or not. I want to do something a little bit different than our normal. I mean, I still want to talk about, conditions in the jail and stuff like that. But
yeah.
I wanted to do something. A lot of places or a lot of people are interested as to how not just California, but institutions all over are handling the coronavirus in the jails and prisons. What's going on at R.J. Donovan?
Right now, they just shut down the visits, so they're taking it pretty serious. I don't know how much further they're going to take it, but I know there's no contact visits on the weekend so far. I'm pretty sure they're still doing overnight visits, family visits, if they're scheduled, but I'm not even sure about that. They might have shut those down too. But I just heard they shut down the contact visits indefinitely. So there's nobody coming in here. It gets crowded right here in San Diego because it's close to the city and everything compared to a lot of other prisons, So it gets crowded for the visits. You got people coming in from all over San Diego. As far as everything going on in here, I mean, there's not any way to really quarantine anybody righteously if something does happen. I mean, it's going to spread like wildfire in here if something does happen because you're just warehoused in here in these cells and cell blocks. So anything that comes in here, it's hard to contain it.
Okay, so when I was talking to David, he had told me that you had a lot of people or an amount of people that had flu-like symptoms and stuff like that. It was definitely the flu, though. It wasn't coronavirus. So, and he told me that you guys were also, I guess, when you go into the library and other places, I don't know where the other places are, but they had hand washing stations set up or something.
I wouldn't go as far to say there's any type of sanitary stuff like that going on. I mean, even in the kitchen, there's not a drop of soap here.
I know he had told me they had people washing their hands when they, go into the library and stuff.
I haven't been to the law library or anytime recently. I don't go in there.
Well, have they?
They might be.
Okay, have they like with the chow hall and stuff like that, where there's large gatherings? Have they at least cleaned up that area?
Again, you're in an environment where it's so difficult to really keep everything up to a real high standard of sanitary conditions. This chow hall is, it's not that clean. If they brought Gordon Ramsay in here, it would be real interesting. If you brought Gordon with the thermometer, they would have a field day. They would have a field day.
Really?
But it's just like this. You got people. You're dealing with a situation where they bring in a number of people that'll steal anything that's not bolted down. So if you got soap back in the kitchen, they're going to go in there and guys are going to steal it right away. So really, they got to have cops manning that area, and they don't have enough. They don't have somebody that they want to set there all day to do that. And then you got free staff coming in that is that's not doing. I mean, there's only so much they can do, and they're not doing it. You know, so.
The other thing I wanted to ask you too is outside in the free world, they're telling everybody to use, things like disinfectant, Purell. I think I know why, but maybe you can tell me. Purell, are you guys going to get that in there? I don't think so.
Definitely not. I mean, if you're a porter or something, you'll be able to get disinfectant. And, you're building up. From day one, when you're in the county jail, I spent 5 years in the county. We've been eating prison food. A lot of these guys are getting sick recently. You got real foul stuff going on in these kitchens.
Okay.
You got guys, you got people that are, I was working in the kitchen, and you see it's like this. Let's say you're unloading a truck in the back. You got your gloves on, and guys are going and you're touching stuff that's got, bird feces on it, and you're going right to the line, and they don't want to give you more gloves. Or they're not even policing that. They're not monitoring that correctly. They're not putting it together that that's unsanitary.
Right.
And it's just, they're not even thinking like that. So you're going straight to the line. Every bit of food that comes out of this place that everybody's been eating is contaminated. I mean, you're building your immunity up for years and years of this stuff. There's not one bit of food that goes in these things it's not contaminated. I've seen the way it's done. I was a linebacker, so I'm on both lines setting up the lines. And I take pride in doing what I'm doing because of having years where I hadn't had a job.
Right.
I'm behind the door to work for these men, for the population, to feed the population.
Right.
Even I would catch myself, like if these guys are in there and they drop a biscuit or something on the ground and just throw it right back in the
tray,
and bam, next thing you know, it's on the tray. Red. You're just like I said, you got gloves, and you're not in it. You're in an unsanitary cesspool in general. So it's very hard to keep those conditions up to par to anything that would even pass in even the lowest grade restaurants or fast food restaurants, even on the streets. Or probably it's just you're in a much cleaner environment. You're having more access to unlimited amounts of gloves, to soaps, to cleaner. You got, the workers are going to have access to soap right there and changes the gloves at their stations. You don't have any of that in prison.
Right. That's what I was. The reason I was asking you about
and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
The reason I was asking you about the Purell and my thought on the Purell's like 71% alcohol, so I was thinking that's why they wouldn't want you guys getting the Purell. I didn't think it was cost effective.
I don't think that's the issue. I think it's more. I think you got bigger problems than that.
Okay.
It's not having Purell. You got people with HIV that they're not checking to see if these people got HIV. You got a high percentage of HIV on this yard. This yard is a dangerous cesspool right here. And if somebody comes up to you and you get in a fist fight or something, or they're serving in the kitchen, they got a cut on their hand, they might have HIV. There's a lot of there's transgender population here. There's a homosexual population here, and they're if they're back there in that kitchen, you don't know what they're doing back there. Whether they're having sex back there or they're fighting back there, and there's blood spilling. You know what I mean? It's just off the charts. Oh yeah, they'd be right there with you. Yeah, you'll be on the yard. You better watch out because you get hit with a rock by one of them, and if you fight back and you got a cut on your hand, there goes the neighborhood.
Yeah,
it's that serious.
And my understanding from talking to some of the guys up there too is even in the rec yard and all over the place, you got IV drug use.
Yeah, you got a lot of IV drug use in prison. The thing is, I think it's the prison culture has turned to this thing where it's almost like you're a pariah if you're not using IV drugs. It's pretty far out. To me that was the lowest thing. If you're using IV drugs, you're disrespecting yourself. So how can you expect anyone else to respect you when you're putting a needle in your arm? In prison, it's like we don't know if we can mess with this guy if he's not slamming, And
really?
Even the culture of the staff in some of these places, they've accepted that, and maybe for whatever reasons they embrace it. It's just it's an epidemic, and it's definitely something. It's an eye opener in facilities where it's embraced like that, or it's just out in the open.
So you're basically saying that if the coronavirus or even if a bad bout of the flu came in there, it's just going to spread like wildfire and go to the blocks.
Oh, yeah, it's going to spread like wildfire without a doubt. The thing is, though, in this cesspool, from us eating all this contaminated food and from all the druggies putting needles in their arm and putting poison in their body for years at a time, they'll probably, coronavirus...
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Coronavirus probably ain't going to phase none of these zombies here. They've been putting poison way worse than the coronavirus in their bodies for years at a time and eating this food. So, I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think maybe the CDC and everything, not the CDCR, but the CDC is taking the proper precautions, and the media's blowing it out of proportion just to make sure that it doesn't become an epidemic.
Right. I mean, my thing is, Donovan, my understanding at least, is Donovan's pretty much, like, at least mostly a medical facility. I would think it will be cleaner than it actually is.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Joe, it's definitely, this place is no walk in the park.
Yeah.
It's this facility right here, Facility D, it's a dangerous little facility here. And it does have its amenities because of the location. San Diego's beautiful. You got really nice days of weather, but as far as cleanliness and you're close. The reason it's a medical facility is because you're close to a lot of good outside hospitals like that and specialists. But as far don't get me wrong, they'll keep you alive, but. And you got a lot of, like, the whole bottom tier at this place. Calipat, where I was just at, you got nobody with a walker, wheelchair, nothing. The whole bottom tier, you see just, like, parked walkers in each block here, you know? But you got a lot of people in this facility that can't be anywhere else in California, either because they have enemies or because people will kill them wherever else they're at. I mean, there are bad people in this camp.
With the park walkers, you're saying so they don't bring their walkers or their canes or whatever into their cells. They're outside while they're in the cells. That what it is?
They could bring it. They could bring it in the enclosure if the other guy lets them. And it's a small enclosure. You got that parked right in the lane, makes it even worse.
Yeah.
But some of these guys don't want guys taking their walker to sit on or whatever in the day room. I try to park it inside, but most of them just park it outside, or they got it with them wherever if they're on the horn or whatever. But you got a lot of that around here. A lot of people with walkers, a lot of people waiting for surgeries. I mean, just people dying.
Really?
A lot of people dying. I saw Shug the other day. He had a cane or something. He was limping out of the visit.
Well, I was going to ask you, do they have, like, I know it's a medical facility, but do they have, like, specific, like, hospital block that guys are sick and bedridden, or no?
They got the infirmary and CTC, like if they're really sick. I mean, this is a cesspool of every type of sick, dying animal you can imagine. I mean, it's bad. It's not something you want to see as your future. You know, I'll tell you that much.
That's why, when we talk about this stuff, I mean, I want people that are listening to the broadcast to know that prison and jail, it's not only is it just no joke, it's bad in there.
It is not something, it's not an optimum situation. I think people look at it, you're thinking, they're getting free medical, and I'm out here, my insurance didn't pay for this or that, and I understand that too. It's tough out there too. But when you see the conditions, I mean, if you get a surgery in here, or you're in a medical situation, it's not going to be a healing situation, and it's not an environment that's built for spiritual growth, for healing of any kind, or anything of that nature. So you get a surgery and you're coming back to an enclosure and sleeping on a very, very thin mat, and it's not like they're going to let you recuperate like you would normally on the streets. You're going to be right back on a bus.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
And right back to a very small enclosure around dangerous people, And nobody cares. That's the thing that's sad about the whole thing. Nobody really cares. It is what it is. It's a lot of people in here.
Jess, I appreciate you taking the time really to tell these people this so they get an idea of what it's really like inside, because a lot of people have a misconception as to what's in prison. They really do.
Joe, I appreciate you. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity. God bless you. I'm praying for your success in your endeavors, and God bless you, man.
Thank you, Jess.
Take it easy. God bless you, Joe.
Bye-bye. That was pretty colorful and interesting, to say the least. And it goes to show that you definitely do not want to wind up in jail or prison. I'd like to thank you guys for listening to this edition, and thanks for joining me. Again, if you'd like to help me keep this going and would like to see it get better, please donate to paypal.me/JoeTomaso. That's paypal.me/Joe Tomaso. And again, if you would like to ask any questions, make suggestions, or there's somebody you would like me to interview, please email me at insidetherazorwire@gmail.com. Again, that's insidetherazorwire@gmail.com. Or you can always snail mail me at P.O. Box 162, West Haven, Connecticut, 06516. Once again, thanks for joining me and have a great night.